And we on.
Peace and blessings, family. It is me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome, phenomenal, and amazing LDBC Lions Den broadcasting community. Shout out to the Louisiana All American Sports Network. And shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. For all of my Wire fans that love the Wire the way we love the Wire, this is our Wire analysis. This is season 1, episode 6, The Wire, from The Wire. But before we get it going, me and my LDBC brothers, we're going to chop it up. First and foremost, the general of this awesome, amazing, and phenomenal organization. How you doing this morning, good brother?
Doing wonderful, y'all, man. Peace to the brothers and the family.
Man, peace to you, bro. I'm glad you, going to share your time with us on this blessed Saturday morning. We appreciate, you hopping on, showing love. And my brother Jared 11 Green, how you doing this blessed morning, bro?
Man, I can't complain. I appreciate y'all.
Man, I appreciate y'all giving me y'all time. Of course, we the three kings of the Wire analysis. So let's get it popping. I'm not even gonna delay or procrastinate. I'm gonna jump right into it. This is season 1, episode 6 of The Wire, and this episode is titled The Wire. The irony of the situation. All right. McNulty and Greggs asked for a delay in a murder bust in order to preserve the wiretap. So that is the description for this particular episode. This particular episode, it is 59 minutes. So I'm getting ready to go through my scene by scene breakdown. To open up the show, in the first scene, they show Brandon's body, which has been tortured. He's been deleted and put on display for the entire project to see. So Wallace wakes up in an abandoned project apartment. He then wakes up Poop, and he wakes up 6 other young boys that have nowhere to stay. And basically, these young boys, evidently, they don't have a parent or guardian or anybody to take care of them. And as a result, they living in these abandoned project apartments with Wallace and Poop. So basically, he wake them up, he wash his face, he brush his teeth, and he wake them all up to get them off to school. So each one of them have their backpacks. He give each youngster a Capri Sun and a bag of chips. The last one, he didn't get a Capri Sun and a bag of chips. So basically, he was like, look, hey, we're going to send you to such and such. They're going to get you something to eat, whatever. So from that point forward, after he, get him off to school, the cops discover Brandon's body. And Poop tells Wallace, that's Omar's boy right there. And he was like, look, that's Omar's boy right there. And then Wallace finally sees Brandon, and he comes to the full realization that him making that phone call, it came with like ridiculous consequences. And basically, to a certain degree, he's traumatized. Wallace has this very disturbed look on his face once he really sees Brandon's body, and it's crazy. All right, next, Bill Rawls, Jimmy McNulty, and Lehman, they meet in Rawls' office. Next, D'Angelo is at the crib, he at his house, apartment, whatever the case may be, and he clearly just got out the shower with a towel wrapped around him. And, it's crazy how he's living compared to the way Poop and Wallace and the little youngsters living. He got a closet full of clothes, a closet full of shoes. He trying to figure out what he going to wear, how he going to look fresh, how he going to fly today. And it's crazy, like the ridiculous contrast between the two situations. So he's trying to figure out what he going to wear, and he gets a beep on his beeper. And then clearly his pretty little young love interest spent the night. So now he kissing on her, and she cooked him breakfast. After this, the unit is listening to the phone tap conversations, but Lester Freeman said they can't listen to unmonitored calls or any calls unless the targets are using the phone. So Herc said this is BS. And Freeman explained to him that this is the job. So Herc he don't want to stand on rooftops and monitor payphones. Basically he think this is stupid, this is pointless, and this is useless. So basically Freeman got to explain to him. He was like, look, bro, I don't know what y'all been taught. I don't know who schooled y'all. I don't know who brought y'all up. But this is the job. This is what the job is. So Bunk and McNulty are talking, and McNulty explained to him that the case is taking off, and he won't be finished by next week because while he was in the office with Rawls told him like, hey, look, basically we need you to wrap up this case this week, and we need you back next week. So Bunk asked him, hey, did you tell Rawls that? And McNulty said no. So he then gets a phone call. So now he arriving at the crime scene of Brandon. So McNulty is arriving at Brandon's crime scene, and some dogs hop out on him, police dogs, and McNulty gets scared, and all the other cops, they get a good laugh at it. So Wallace sitting on the couch, and basically he explained to D'Angelo that he traumatized. I mean, there's no two ways about it. There's no other clear way I can explain, like the expression on Wallace's face and what he explained it. So D is now using the payphone, and the unit pick up on it. So whoever he called, they called back. So they called back and basically string a bell. So McNulty lets Kima know that Brandon has been found, he's been deleted, and he's been tortured. So Levy is now in court with Bodie, and basically he get Bodie off. Next scene, McNulty leaves a card on the white van for Omar. Next, Johnny is out the hospital, and he went to a fruit stand where Bubbles is working. So basically, Johnny asks Bubbles like, hey, what the hustle is? Bubbles like, ain't no hustle. Like, this is just an honest day work. I'm just, doing my job. So, they get the rapping, whatever. So Bubbles let him know like, hey, I'm not really into nothing. So Johnny let him know like, hey, I'm finna run this scam. So basically, Bubbles got to leave the fruit stand to go get with Johnny. So Herc sees Bodie using the payphone in the pit, and he assumes that he escaped from the juvenile detention center again. So he talking to Stinkum, and Freeman explains to Prez, because Prez marked it as like invaluable information in terms of like the call. So basically, Freeman explains to him like all this information is valuable because it proves that there's a criminal conspiracy going on here. So, and basically he says all this information proves that this is a part of a criminal enterprise. So Herc and Carver in the next scene, they jump out, not realizing that Bodie has been released from the juvenile detention center. So Rawls stays late at his office, and he sees a stack of files, and he realizes like this is some of McNulty's files, so he kind of goes through them. Next, D caught Cassandra stealing money because it's been an end of the month, and she hasn't been paid yet, but she still was able to buy food. Next, Jay Landsman, of course earlier, him, McNulty, and Rawls, they met in his office. Jay Landsman wants Bunk to arrest D for the deletion of Deidre Crescent and two other people that we be iced. And Bunk is telling him that, hey, it's a very weak case. But Jay said, hey, this is what Rawls wants. He wants you to arrest them and basically do more investigation, like once you make the arrest, which is kind of a backwards way to do things, if you ask me. So Freeman had explained to Greggs and McNulty that they have pager numbers for Stinkum and for Stringer Bell. Next, Ox walks in the unit at 9 o'clock in the morning. And already at 9 o'clock in the morning, he wasted. So they basically like, man, this dude wasted at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so McNulty is like, hey, either he hung over from last night, maybe he got wasted this morning, but either or, like, hey, he tore up and it's early in the morning. And it's like, it's way too early, 9 o'clock in the morning, way too tore up to be wasted when you got a 9-to-5 job. Like when you're a boss and you moving on your own, you doing your own thing, you can do whatever you want. But when you got a 9 to 5 to go to, you can't show up at work 9 o'clock in the morning wasted. So next, Daniels calls Oxen to the office, and he tells Detective Polk, like, hey, come here. So Daniels gives him the option. Either he go to alcohol abuse treatment, you go to work drunk. So initially he decides to go get treatment because he does not want to be on the case anyway. So next, Bunk is with McNulty, Griggs, and Freeman. So Bunk is explaining to McNulty what he thinks Rawls is trying to do. So in McNulty's mind, he think Rawls trying to get back at him for this whole fiasco. And what Bunk had to explain to him, like, basically you started a firestorm. So he trying to get clearance on 3 of these cases. So even if it don't get past the grand jury, whatever the case may be, even if they make an arrest, even if D is not found guilty, it's going to clear 3 of the cases. So it's crazy how the politics in this situation work. To me, it's backwards, but I mean, it is what it is. That's the system. So Bump explained like what's going on to McNulty. And, you know, he had to kind of run everything down. So basically, he want clearance for 3 of those cases that McNulty got from the previous year. So McNulty is aggravated by the constant politics and the stat jugging. So 3 members of the unit, they argue about the next course of action. Next, Johnny and Bubbles, they run the copper scam where basically they're going to steal the copper. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know how it is in everybody else's area, but the rural area I'm from, like these, you know, the rock stars, they've been known to do that. Like, hey, you got an old abandoned house or abandoned trailer, especially like a old abandoned trailer, they like to steal a copper out of it and go sell it. So, like, that's a real thing. So Griggs and McNulty, they take the issue to Daniels, and he says Rawls has rank on him. And basically, McNulty, he don't want to hear it. He was like, F all of this chain of command BS, which is a jacked up perspective from our, in my opinion, like that's a jacked up way to look at things. So next, Avon, Stringer, and Stinkum show up to the pit, and they give everybody a little extra money for deleting Brandon. Next, Bubbles try to sell a copper and negotiate a price. Next scene, Daniels try to reason with Rawls and get him to shut it down until, they get everything they need for their particular case. And basically, Rawls ain't going for it because he is higher rank over Daniels. And in addition to that, he want clearance for the 3 cases of the previous year. Next, Omar calls McNulty back. Then in the next scene, Bubbles, Johnny, and their friend, they're getting high after they got a little score from their little copper situation. Next, McNulty has his kids, and he meeting with Omar. I mean, I don't know how other people view it, but in my particular opinion, like, bro, like, it's a school night. You bringing these kids to go meet with Omar, like, I mean, I know that's your job, but come on, man. Like, these are kids. That's my perspective. Next, Bubbles sees Johnny getting arrested with the H on him. And basically, Bubbles is like, man, this dude, if it ain't for bad luck, he don't have no luck. Next, D is talking to Wallace, and D explains that Sterling and Cass were stealing, but they wasn't snitching. And basically, Wallace was like, why you didn't tell Avon, like, Stinkum or Stringer Bell? And he was like, you told where Brandon was at, and look what happened to him. Like, what you think they would have did? They might not have deleted him, but he was like, basically, they was going to take baseball bats and was going to beat up Cassandra, and it was going to beat him up. So basically, both of them was going to get beat up. Next, McNulty brings Omar to see Brandon, and Omar starts screaming when he sees what happened, and he really realizes what transpired. Next, McNulty and Griggs, after they pick up Omar to go see Brandon, basically, they're trying to see if Omar's ready to start snitching. They explain the reason Brandon was tortured was because he didn't want to give up Omar. So Omar is ready to snitch at this point. Omar tells what he knows and who snatched Brandon up. Basically, he told him, like, hey, hey, it was Weeby, it was Bird, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Freeman explains that everything matches up, and McNulty tells Daniels that they always a step late. basically had the wire up in terms of like not just the wire, but the phone tap up, they would have been able to hear what was going on with Wallace spotting them, Wallace spotting Brandon, and him relaying it to D relaying it to Stringer like putting the word out, and them basically snatching Brandon and deleting him and torturing him. Next, McNulty and Freeman, they go to the Greeks, and they get the rest of the story, and basically everything lines up like Wallace spotting Brandon, and the whole nine, and how basically they snatched him up. They had like they was the police. He tried to fight him off, but it was multiple. They arrested him, and then they ended up deleting him. Now Daniels tries to fight for the Barksdale case to no avail at this particular point. Omar and Greggs is talking, and he agrees to testify on Bird. So basically, at this point, that whole no snitching, this part of my code of conduct that Omar feels, he's so emotionally distraught about the deletion of Brandon that basically he willing to go back on his word. Now he ready to snitch. So Burrell, Rawls, and Daniels, they meeting about the case. Rawls wants after everything kind of fell apart. So basically what they decided was that Rawls needs to hold off on making his arrest, on arresting D'Angelo, because it's a weak case. And basically, Rawls, he didn't like the way that it ended up playing out, but it was Burrell's decision. But since Daniels went against Rawls, now, of course, he's going to suffer the consequences from a political standpoint. So Rawls already had an inside guy, Detective Michael, and basically he want Michael to give up any information that he got on McNulty, whether he's still drinking on the job, whether he, doing something illegal, anything any dirt that Rawls could get on McNulty, he want Detective Michael to give it up. And basically, he like, hey, it's not my job to screw over another cop. So at the end, Daniels explains to Freeman and McNulty that the warrants to arrest D'Angelo have kind of been put on hold. So McNulty thanks Daniels for him doing what he's doing and keeping the case alive. And Freeman already told, he had already told Daniels in the previous episode, like from a political standpoint, I know you have aspirations of climbing this, this career ladder, but he was like, if you do something that kind of rub people the wrong way, it's going to cost you in the long run. So Freeman already knew this, and he told Daniels, like, hey, it costs you something, man. And he didn't nod, or he didn't let him know, but he kind of gave him that look like, yeah, you already knew what it was. So after that particular point, that's the end of the episode. I'm going to turn things over to my brother, Jared 11 Green. The floor is yours, bro.
Thank you for that wonderful recap. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Okay, and the reason why I have Coach's, if anyone's wondering, I had Coach's picture as my icon. I'm actually running his StreamYard due to Coach having power issues, but it's all good. The show must go on. But let's go into the questions, y'all. So, first question: seeing the way Brandon was deleted, traumatized, what do you think was going on what did he think was going to happen to Brandon? So basically, when he saw what happened to Brandon, right? And now it's bothering him. He should have known that was going to happen. So
you talking about Wallace, huh?
Yeah, Wallace. What y'all think about that? Why is he now, traumatized? But he's seen how the Barksdale boys roll. So he should have known.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think I like Wallace, man. I do. I think he was a good kid and stuff like that. But there's a whole lot of people in this show that just ain't cut out for what they're doing. You know what I mean? And that's the facts of the real life. That's the streets. Same thing. Like there's a lot of people who everybody tremble in fear. They see them. Oh my God! Here come the thugs. Here come the gangsters. And these dudes be the most tender-hearted, softest people in the world. They just. And I don't mean that in a negative way either. I mean that in the way that they just was in a position where this is the life they had to unfortunately lead, because that was the opportunity that came first. So that's the only opportunity they know about. Wallace should have been doing something else. You know what I'm saying? And with his life, but um, he ended up doing that. So yeah, he should have known that what was going to happen. You know what I mean? Um, but it's kind of like it's a reflex. He did what he was told to do. He's been doing what he's been told to do for so long that he didn't. A soldier ain't trained to really think. You trained to do what you told, right? And to take orders. You know what I'm saying? Once you start thinking and analyzing and all that kind of stuff, then you start becoming something more than a soldier. So they're trying to keep you in a realm of just do what you're told to do. So I can see him not thinking and just calling because that's what he's supposed to do. They say, "Hey man, he want to make some money," and then when he have time to sit back and analyze what actually happened and what he actually did, he realized he took part in a brutal murder. Now he probably wouldn't have felt as bad if Stringer and them or the Barksdale family would have made Brandon disappear. You know what I'm saying? But they put his body on display. So when his body on display, he had to see that. Now he can't get that image out of his head. He's too young for he wasn't built for that, man.
Yeah, you're right, and that's what Black Fire 150 said in the chat. And salute, brother. Salute to Soul Power, everyone. Hamza S. We appreciate all you brothers coming in. But like you said, and the Black Fire said, 78. Boy, just 14. But this is the path he chose. But Coach, same question. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, bro, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna echo the general sentiments exactly. Like the boy Young, I think Blackfire was saying, I think he 14, 15, 16. He's somewhere between like 14 and 16. And from an opportunity standpoint, like he didn't have nobody raising him. Like he kind of on his own. And not only that, the kid clearly has a good heart because like he taking care of like some other little kids who really don't have like parents or whatever the case may be. And what he doing is like he looking out for them too. So none of these kids, like all of them young, and he taking care of the even younger ones that like really don't have like a parent or guardian because they don't end up in foster care. They don't want to end up in the system. So instead of ending up in the system, they rather just be with him and Poop and other guys that live in the same, building or whatever the case may be. And from a socioeconomic standpoint, like the school system in Baltimore are trash. But not only that, but like he don't like at his age, he don't have no other kind of way to really like provide for himself. So in his mind, he probably think like, me being a part of the little Barksdale organization, that's the only opportunity I really have to make some money. But like 7A said, he really wasn't built for this game. He really don't have the critical thinking skills. Like 7A was saying, he's just a soldier. So he been always taught like, hey, do what you're told. So as a result, he see Brandon like, hey, we know that they got a bounty on Brandon and Omar. Like, hey, that's Brandon boy right there. Pooh point him out, and he like, all right, bet. So hey, let's go call. They call, and by them torching him the way they did and putting him on display, like it traumatized him. But like 7-8 was saying, I don't think he really thought like 5 steps ahead. All he was thinking like, hey, we gonna see him. Hey, they gonna get him. He probably really didn't think about what the consequences were gonna be. And then when he really saw like this gonna be the after effect, this gonna be the aftermath. Now you traumatized. So like the little extra $500 he took it, he went and smoke it up or whatever because he trying to get that image out of his head. So it's unfortunate. Somebody like him, he really wasn't built for the game, but at the same token, like he really don't have no opportunities at his disposal because one of how young he is, and not only that, but the socioeconomic status he in. Realistically, in an ideal situation, he would be in a stable 2-parent household. He wouldn't have to be on his own fending for himself at this young age.
Good take. Okay, all right. Moving on to question 2. when Rawls had the meeting with McNulty in his office, do you think he was testing McNulty's loyalty to see if he changed?
Uh, that scene. Trying to remember that scene when Ross had him in the. I just don't think Ross is the the white guy.
Yeah, the scumbag racist piece of trash. Him,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
him,
now I remember
him,
now.
and a fat dude. They brought McNulty into the office, and basically they told him like, "Hey, we want you to be done with this case next week. You know, the case finna wrap up, whatever."
Mhm.
And basically, like, hey, when we come back, next week when you come back, you know, you need to get back on your game and pick up the slack because by you leaving, everybody else to pick up your slack. Now we're gonna need you to make up for it and whoop the whoop.
Right. Yeah. Well, look, they don't like McNulty, and for good reason. McNulty is a scumbag. He's an idiot. I mean, I think he has good intentions. He want to win cases and shit, but he'll step on anybody to do it. So I don't know if they uh, um were testing him or not. I think they just want to rub it in his face that they was trying to fuck up their case for him. If that's the scene I'm thinking about.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. And Rockstar 420, he said, "Can y'all rank the seasons? Maybe one that'd be a good show one day."
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, Rockstar 420. I'm not gonna lie. That's an excellent point. I think probably when we get further down the line after we do a certain amount of shows or whatever, we're gonna rank the seasons. But I'll probably say at the top of my head, without me giving like a whole lot of thought to it, I'll probably say maybe season one is the best. I don't know, season one the best. Now in terms of all five, I'll probably have to sit down and kind of, even though I don't watch all five seasons multiple times, I would have to kind of sit down and give like further analysis to it. But in my opinion, I clearly think season one is the best season. But in terms of the question you asked, honestly, I think 78 right. I think Rawls was trying to rub his nose in it, but I think to a certain degree, he was kind of testing him. I think him and Jay Landsman pulling him in the office, I think they was trying to check his temperature to see, like, hey, is this guy gonna be a team player, or he gonna continue to be the scumbag piece of trash and kind of throw people under the bus, like do stuff or whatever. Because like 78 was saying, they kind of made it clear that hey, like we probably gonna mess up this case for you, and this case is gonna be finished by next week. So we're gonna need you to get back here and get back to work, and we need to be able to trust you. You need to be a loyal soldier and do what we tell you to do and follow chain of command and whoop the whoop. So I think to a certain degree, I don't think they made it as obvious, but I think in a subtle way they was kind of testing him a little bit,
Right.
Facts. And Blackfire 150, your rankings is a little similar to mine, except I'm gonna switch. I got four because I like the season with the kids, and then I'm gonna do the second season one, season three, then two and five. So our rankings pretty similar. And
No,
Joseph Garner said season one is the best. What were you gonna
yeah, I ain't
say,
gonna lie.
Coach?
I agree with Joseph Nunn. I think season one is the best.
I hear you, but I love the season with the kids. But
Yeah. Yeah. I would say season one first, and then it's either season three or four. I got to rewatch them to remember. It's season one, either three or four. Then five and two. Two was my least favorite because it threw me off and shit. Even though it makes sense later, but when I first started watching it, it threw me off. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is the same show. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. But no, but I'm not gonna lie. As a teacher, like a real life teacher, even though I teach PE and I coach sports, like being a PE teacher that really didn't want to be in the classroom and teach like these classes like journey careers and quest of success. And these kids don't even value. They don't even care about math and English and like the core curriculum subjects. So when they come to electives, they don't give a damn for no electives. I ain't gonna lie, season 4 did kind of hit home for me because as a real life teacher, like I went through some of those same situations. Not the exact same way, but through like some of the same stuff, like even like with the girl getting cut in the face with the box cutter. Like, you know, at one of the schools I taught at, like a student didn't flat out cut another student with a box cutter, but another student did kind of get poked a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So now I say that whole season it resonated strongly with me. I'll probably say season 1 is the best. I think season 4, and then maybe 3, 2, 5. I think 5 probably was my least favorite season from the standpoint. Like, of course, I still gotta go sit back and reanalyze each season in its entirety. You know, because that's one thing good about The Wire. You can kind of binge watch it. But I think season 5 was my least favorite season from the standpoint of, like, if you look at all other seasons, like even season 3, a lot of people like season 3, but to me, season 3 kind of took a while to really get going. Like those first few episodes was like real slow until like they really got the stuff going with the Greeks and Bondus and the dots and all that. You know, certain seasons like real slow, and I think that season was like a slow going season. But once it got good, it got good. But season 5 to me, it felt like rushed. I mean, I know they cut it a few episodes short, so I think that's why they didn't allow the storylines to develop the way they did, like in season 1, season 3, whatever the case may be. So some of the stuff, you know, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but some stuff didn't really make sense to me, like the Greeks dealing with Marlo instead of dealing with Prop Joe. Like some of that stuff, to me, I think it did have build it better. It did have had the few extra episodes like they normally did for every other season. I think it would have came together better. But I felt like season 5 really didn't make as much sense. So I think that's probably my least favorite season.
Right.
Okay. We will definitely looking to having a show like that one day. But question 3. Do you think Rawls was more interested in clearing the 3 cases from the previous year, getting back at McNulty for putting him in the bad position, or both?
I think both, but because he was under pressure from the judge and everybody, but I think he really more than anything want to hurt McNulty. You know what I'm saying? And I think he wanted to hurt McNulty and make sure that he made McNulty suffer for going breaking the chain of command and being a backstabber and stuff like that for the most part.
All right. What you think, Coach?
Again, I'm agree with the general. I say definitely both. And from a political standpoint, McNulty kind of put him under the gun big time. So he definitely wanted clearance for them 3 cases. And that's the thing about it. The thing I hated about the show is like juking the stats. I couldn't stand the way they juke stats from the perspective of, instead of you really doing good police work and really legitimately worried about solving these cases, as long as it didn't even have to get past the grand jury. As long as he arrested somebody, like he got clearance for the case. So I think he was more concerned about clearing the cases more than he was getting back at McNulty. Of course, he definitely was trying to hurt McNulty. He definitely was trying to get back at him. So I think both is the correct answer. But I think, in my personal opinion, I think he was more concerned about clearing those 3 cases. But McNulty put him in a jacked up situation to begin with. And I think that was his way of kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm gonna get my shake back and get a little revenge on you. But more than anything, you put me under this political pressure from the judge. So I'm gonna clear these 3 cases.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. Question 4. In this episode, Lester Freeman constantly had to explain things to the less experienced cops in his unit. Do you think they were just bad cops or wasn't trained properly? General, what you think?
1 second, brother. I'm talking to my wife. 1 second.
No problem.
In fact, let me jump in, bro. Honestly,
Go ahead.
I'll probably say I think a little bit of both. Because if you look at cops like Herc and like Prez Belusky, Herc and Prez Belusky are like idiots. They're incompetent. They're scumbag pieces of trash. and then incompetent police. But at the same token, like clearly it wasn't trained properly for him to constantly like explain stuff like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. For you, him have to explain to her, like, hey, what you thought you was signing up for? Like, this is part of the job. Like, you going on those rooftops and monitor payphones and take surveillance and take pictures and do this and do that and do a third. Like, bro, like that's part of the job. Like, what you think you was signing up for? So the fact that he really got to take these like young, incompetent idiots under his wing, take them by the hand and show them the ropes. Like, it kind of goes to show you from a policing perspective that they weren't trained properly, but more than anything, they didn't understand what the job really entailed. So I think it's a combination of the two. But like those two cops in particular, like they were idiots. So, and you know, in those few scenes, it really was him like guiding them along more than anything. Whereas McNulty and Greggs, like they were, even though McNulty a scumbag piece of trash, like both from good police. So they really didn't need this much guidance and hand holding and explaining. But for the most part, I really think they were incompetent police officers. And not only that, but they really hadn't been trained properly. And Hamza is make a great point. You know, I think he was intelligent, but he really wasn't fit to be a police officer. And it really, if it really wasn't for his father-in-law, I don't think he would have became a police officer anyway. You know what I'm saying? So Hamza is right from the standpoint that his father-in-law really tried to push him into being a police officer, but he clearly wasn't cut out for the job, and he clearly wasn't built for it. And it kind of goes to show you that as a cop, he was a scumbag piece of trash, but as a teacher, that's one thing as a teacher that you really do, despite you being at a bad school or whatever, like you build bonds and you build connections with the kids and the students, you know what I'm saying? So I could kind of see him making that 180 from a character standpoint, because I think he was more cut out to be a teacher than he was a police officer.
All right, brother. Could you repeat the question for me? I'm sorry about that. My wife came up in here asking me some stuff. Jared.
You good, brother. You good, brother. But in this episode, Lester Freeman constantly had to explain things to less experienced cops in his unit. Did you think they were just bad cops or wasn't trained properly?
I think a little bit of both. But they bad cops because they wasn't trained properly. And I think that Lester's one of my favorite characters on the show. Like he
is too. Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, he's a straight OG, smart. Don't gotta say too much. He ain't gotta put on no big bravado. He handled his business like a real OG poster. You know what I'm saying? Lester really could have got away with playing one of the cold drug dealers or something from there, because he got that aura about himself. But I like Lester. I think he just his years of experience and observing the police, or observing the streets and stuff like that, and having the street smarts and common sense and knowing the job. I think he was an asset, a serious asset to a lot of them, because in many cases he proved that he was smarter than his superiors. You know what I'm saying? They outranked them. So yeah, I think the guys were just bad cops because they were trained bad. I think if somebody like Lester was trained up from day one, I think that they would have been way better cops.
And I ain't gonna lie, Stephen Nate, that was a brilliant point you pointed out. For him to be able to go to Daniels and tell Daniels, like, look, hey, I know you're a career guy, you climbing this career ladder, and you really believe in following the chain of command. But once we hit a certain point in this case, because really the powers that be just want this case to go away. But if you really get into it and we really get to solving this case, he was like, in the long run, this is gonna cost you, you're climbing this career ladder. Right. That's what you really want. And he was like, me, he was like, hey, I don't want to go to a dance unless I can rub on some brush, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, you can play it however you want to play it, but you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to make this decision. So he warned him about that ahead of time. So that go to show you that he been on this job a long time and he was an excellent detective, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Um, okay. Question 5. McNulty is surprised Daniels did the right thing and fought for the case. In your opinion, do you think it was worth it? And would you have done the same thing if you were in the same situation?
Um, without remembering what exactly happened later, I would have fought for the case because you need to keep your morale up. And the soldiers working underneath you, if they see that you, like, what's the point of them risking their life, doing all this extra shit, excuse me, doing all this extra stuff, going through, you know, uh, um, putting their life in danger, working overtime, doing all this. What's the purpose of doing all of that? And then turn around and y'all finna sabotage your own case. So they might as well start halfway doing their job. You know what I'm saying? So of course I would have to go and do the same thing he did and fight for it because at the end of the day, even if you don't get promoted and all that kind of stuff or climb that corporate ladder or that ladder of success at your job, the people who were in that room is going to remember what you did, and
Mm,
that right there is going to take you far too.
yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Coach, same question.
Yeah, I would have fought for the case also. And this is the reason I say, because I'm gonna be truthful. I see people, of course it's different in the realm of education than it is in the field of being a police officer. And a lot of times people climb the ladder by kissing butt and through nepotism and finding favor with certain people. Me, like Lester Freeman said on the show, he was like, look, me, I don't want to go to a dance unless I can rub on some breasts. Like, if I can't get it the way I really want it, the way I want, if I can't get it on my own terms, I don't want to be in a leadership position. So me, that's why somebody like me, that's why I say, for me, it's imperative that, like, at this point right now, I kind of already started to kind of put things in place. But, you know, I feel like being an entrepreneur is more the path for me, because I feel like when you're on a job, like, the superiors, they're never going to appreciate you the way you're going to appreciate you. You're always going to be taken for granted. If something
Mm,
happened the day of tomorrow, guess what? Like, you easily disposable. Hey, if something happened to you the day of tomorrow, guess what? They're going to find somebody to replace you. You know what I'm saying? And all it takes is one accusation, one whatever, for them to get you out of job. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of like, the whole situation with Bodie. Of course, we're going to talk about it like later on down the line, but he thought being a good soldier and doing things the right way would get him far in the long run. And at the end of the day, like, he really hadn't experienced real life. You could be the best employee in the world. That ain't gonna get you as far as you might think you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So that's why somebody like me, I felt like Daniels did the right thing, because in the long run, truthfully speaking, like, kissing all that behind, chain of command, all that bull crap, it really don't get you nowhere in the long run, especially if you constantly, perpetually got to kiss behind and get what you need. Like, I don't want to live like that.
yeah, you're right. And I ain't gonna lie, how without telling because we still in season 1, I didn't like how Bodie ended. I thought he would, since him being a good soldier, he would end up like Slim Charles, which was also next to Lester Freeman, one of my favorite characters. But
Hey, I'm glad you touched on that. But you got to realize, I saw somebody else, like, Wire Analysis show. I clicked on ours, and it kind of led to somebody else's show. And I think the difference between Bodie and Slim Charles, whereas Bodie was a soldier and Slim Charles was muscle. Like, on the chessboard, they're playing two different roles. So that's why Slim Charles was more valuable. And then not only that, but, you know, uh, Bodie was West Side. He didn't have the flexibility to do like Slim Charles and go over there and work with Prop Joe. So, I mean,
that's
there's a
true.
lot of variables that once we get further down the line, we're going to analyze more. We're going to break down more. We're going to talk about more. But, like, they were in two different positions. So, Bodie, he was kind of in a dead end spot.
I know, but Bodie that dude though. But
Oh yeah. I agree with you, but I felt like he should have did the smart thing like poop. But like you said, we don't want to ruin it too much. We're gonna talk with it more when we get further down the line.
right, exactly. But going back into the questions, do you think Omar foresaw Brandon being deleted in such a way as consequences for him robbing Avon?
No, of course not. Omar is arrogant. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say he's one of the most overrated characters in the show. Like, he's a very important character to the show, but Omar, the legend of him is just so phony because you walking around out here, no mask, everybody know how you look, right? So the fact that people saw Brandon, they saw him, okay, while y'all was robbing this joint, and then he out in public playing video games like it's a joke or something. Like I'm sorry, he deserved what happened to him. He deserved, like you in the street. These are drug dealers, bro. You just robbed drug dealers, and you out playing video games in the arcade like it's a joke. Like ain't nobody like you can't be faded or something. Like you got some type of immunity in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So Omar was arrogant and stupid, and he should have had. If that's your boy, you should have protected him. First of all, y'all should have been. Your identity should have never been exposed. But that's not how Omar get down. He want his identity out there because he want to put fear in the people. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna play the streets, you can't turn around and be a snitch and start whining. Oh, they killed my boy. They killed my boy. He was beautiful. Man, shut up, bro. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, Brandon deserved everything he got.
All right. Coach, what you think?
I'm gonna tackle it from a different perspective. Dude, when you playing these kind of games, you got to understand that they're gonna come with these type of consequences. But clearly, he didn't see that. Dude, Avon is the most powerful dude on this the whole West Side. He the most powerful dude. He is revered. He feared. And bro, you just gonna rob him. You're not gonna mask up, and you don't think it's gonna be no blowback or no shakeback for that? Like, come on, man, you can't be this stupid, brother. Say he was such a smart guy. Like, you would think somebody like Omar that's just so streetwise, he would have more foresight than that. That kind of going to show you, like, me and 7-8, we in agreement on that. Like, this whole legend of Omar, I think he's so overhyped and overrated. And I think this is one of the things that really kind of proved that. To me, if you was all that you claim you are, like you did an excellent job protecting yourself, but protecting the people around you. We're not only going to see this with Brandon, but we're going to see this further down the line. It's like, bro, like, you did an excellent job of protecting yourself, but you did a terrible job protecting the people around you. And at the end of the day, he didn't foresee it, but he should have. So you can't be this mythical, like, legend that people claim you are if you don't have this type of foresight. So yeah, that's what part of the reason why I think Omar is such a grossly overrated character.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I never thought of Omar being a grossly overrated character till I heard the general's view, and I ain't gonna lie, he turned to me. With his perspective on how he
No, I ain't
explained
gonna
it.
lie. I ain't gonna lie, bro. The whole time I was watching, I thought he was an overrated character. But us just kind of sitting down and just breaking it down episode by episode, I'm seeing it more. But I already thought that. That's why when we talked to Buddy on our prequel episode, and me and 7-8 both said he was overrated. Like, man, one dude was like, man, you serious? You actually feel that way about Omar? I'm like, hell yeah, this dude is overrated. Like, man, hey, the legend of him was just so overblown. I mean, this dude just walking down the street just to take a smoke, and you got dudes throwing their packs out, bro. I kid you not. I ain't known a million drug dealers in my life, but I've known guys like you. Literally, you'd have had to off them to get their stuff. They weren't giving up nothing, and you could have had a gun to this dude. Hey, one dude I'm talking about, and guess what? You could have threatened to delete him. You're like, hey, bro, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, hey, I'm willing to be deleted for this. So, man, I don't believe these dudes would have been just throwing their packs out, and you ain't even strapped. You just going to take a smoke just to get some Cheerios from the corner store. Nah, bro. I think the legend of him is so overrated, grossly overrated.
Okay. Definitely accept y'all perception for real. Um, do you think Weebay, Bird, and Stinkum should have gone after Omar at the end of the previous episode instead of snatching Brandon?
Um, well, I can't remember. Did they see? I thought they only spotted Brandon.
No. They was sitting in the SUV. Weebay was driving, Stringer Bell was on the passenger seat, and Bird Stinkum was in the back seat, and Omar was in like this courtyard with this jersey on, talking to somebody, but he wasn't like right there where they could to see him. He was like way off in the distance, but they could see him standing in the courtyard talking to somebody.
Oh,
and then D made the call that Wallace spotted Brandon in the Greeks, so they could have got, if they was gonna go after Brandon, they're gonna go after Omar. You got Bird, Stinkum, and Weebay. You got the three of them. But instead of going at Omar, they followed with Wallace and D told them, and they went to the Greeks to snatch Brandon. So they had the option to get one of them too, and they took the Brandon option instead of Omar.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't. That's difficult because that goes back to the legend of Omar. That's like kind of like what makes this dude make everybody so hesitant. Now I understand he a cowboy now and he get busy, but y'all, if y'all play the streets too, y'all got him outnumbered. How this dude can't be the Black Batman out here? So y'all got to be able to deal with that. But the Brandon thing was a good move. I would have done it. I mean, I ain't gonna say I would have. Some people would have did it differently. They would have just snatched up Brandon and whooped on him a little bit, but not to the point where he disfigured. I'd have whooped on him a little bit, okay, kept him, put it out there in the streets that, you know what I'm saying, it's, you know what I'm saying, the little light-skinned boot thing is out here, you know what I mean, so until you come outside and play, you know what I'm saying, every day he's going to be kept alive, but he's going to be tortured every day until you come outside and play, you know what I'm saying. The move he was trying to do to Marlo later on is what I would have did reverse, and he's in love with the boy, but see, they didn't know that though. They didn't know that was his love interest. If they knew that was his love interest, they could have really played that real good. But you know, whatever. But I would have. I probably would have did the same thing going after Brandon. I just would have handled it differently than they did.
Okay. Coach, what you think?
Well, you know, one thing we got to point out, like Griggs and McNulty said, the reason why they tortured Brandon the way they did was because he wouldn't give up Omar, and probably knowing the way Bird was getting on, Bird was like, all right, hey, we just gonna continue to torture him until and then we're gonna delete him. But I could kind of see why they went and got Brandon, because Brandon was the easier target. But to me, I think in the long run, if they really was trying to get Omar, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know he was like way off in the distance, standing in like this project courtyard talking to this guy. But to me, I think that was going to be the best chance they was going to have to get him. You got Stinkum, you got Weebay. So you got Stinkum, Weebay, and you got Bird. To me, that was the best opportunity to get Omar. I know what they was trying to do. They was trying to do the opposite way. They was trying to snatch Brandon and use Brandon to draw Omar out, put Brandon on display, and maybe thinking now they're going to go get Omar. But if anything, you made Omar put his guard up. Now he on high alert. So to me, I think the best way to get him, if you really was trying to get Omar, I mean, of course, like my brother was saying, Jared, you know, we don't want to talk about future episodes, but I think 3 of them going after him would have been better than 2 of them going after him. So I think it would have been in their best interest. If they really wanted Omar like that, they should have got Omar right in and there.
And I got a question regarding that scene with Omar sitting in the courtyard. Wasn't it too risky to go after him anyway? Wasn't there too much
heat? I think that's part of the reason why they probably didn't go after him, because he wasn't like when they pull up to the Greeks, like their SUV was like right there, and the Greeks was like in close proximity. But when they spotted Omar, Omar was like way off in the distance. He was close enough for them to see him, but he wasn't like easily accessible. You know what I'm saying? So even if they would have pursued him, like it probably would have been difficult to get to him. And not only that, but you don't know. More than likely, I don't think he was strapped. But even if he was strapped or whatever, like I think it would have been better if they would have been trying to take them, the three of them together. But he was so far off in the distance. I think that's might have been part of the reason why they didn't pursue him, because he was close enough for them to see him, but he was way out the way. You know.
Okay. Okay, I thought so. All right. Do you think Stringer intentionally had them snatch Brandon to send a message to Omar instead of going after Omar right then and there? Was it the right move?
Do I think Stringer did what? Say again, bro?
No,
No
basically
problem.
what he was saying is, do you think they snatched Brandon instead of going after Omar? They snatched Brandon to send a message to Omar, and if going after Brandon, after they went after Brandon, do you think it was the right move to go after Brandon instead of Omar?
Yeah. Let's go back to what I said. I think I still don't remember. I'm still trying to remember that scene where Omar was there. I can't remember Omar, but I think I still would have got. I mean, maybe I'm saying that because I know now that they was lovers, um, but if I didn't know that, I would have went for Omar, or I would have had um, somebody knock out two birds with one stone. They got enough muscle at that time, especially. I would have been like, okay, somebody snatched the dude Brandon. We finna get at Omar. You know what I'm saying? And I knocked out two birds with one stone. But that's if I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? That they was lovers. If I knew they was lovers, I'd have just went and got Brandon. Because emotions make you do stupid stuff, and you could have got Omar out of his body doing that.
Okay. Okay. Coach, what you think?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. At certain points of the season, not just this season, but just the whole show in general, I think at certain points, Stringer Bell is very calculated, and in some instances, he made excellent moves, brilliant moves, like chess type moves, and in other instances, he just did stupid stuff. Knowing the way he think at times, I think he kind of did it intentionally by intentionally going after Brandon to send a message to Omar. But even with that being said, even though Omar was way off in the distance, because that's one of the things in this scene. I don't think people realize that's Omar. But the only reason why, if you're not listening carefully, all you see a dude talking to another guy way out in the distance, and Weebay told Stringer Bell, like, hey, that's Omar right there, whoop the whoop. So maybe part of the reason why they didn't go after him is because he was way out in the distance. But kind of what like they're saying in the chat, like Joseph Garner, like, hey, babe, you come at the king, you better not miss. Kind of eluding to that, I think they'd have been in a better situation if Bird, Stinkum, and Weebay go after him, as opposed to just Stinkum and Weebay. I think if you got three, I think three guys is muscle is better than two guys is muscle. You know what I'm saying? So I think the three of them would have been in a better situation to get him, as opposed to just the two of them in later episodes. You know what I'm saying? So I think if they was gonna get him, that would have been their best opportunity to get him. Even though, of course, Stringer Bell in the vehicle, but he ain't gonna add nothing to the equation anyway. But even with that being said, maybe that's part of the reason why, because Stringer was there, or maybe Omar was too far off in the distance. But either way, I think if they was gonna get him, I think that was the best opportunity right there.
Right. Blackfire 150 said, looking at it now, that was Scar, not Omar.
Oh, all right. So that was Scar.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, see, I could remember. I knew I could remember them seeing Omar. I'm like, wait a minute, now. Omar.
We appreciate it, Joseph Garner. He said, good stuff, guys. You got to subscribe, Randy. We
Man,
appreciate it, man.
we appreciate you, bro. We appreciate you.
Salute.
And next question. What are your thoughts on Omar's sudden change of heart and him deciding to snitch on Bird? Saturday, we already know what Saturday gonna say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, Omar, this is who he really is. He's a low life scumbag, man. He's just a hater. He want to steal from everybody else. He act like he got some type of moral high ground where he's Peter Pan, or not Peter Pan, but Robin Hood and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. So the series tries to make you like him, like because he take it from the dealers and stuff. But at the same time, he sell it too. He'd take it and then sell it or stuff like that. So it ain't like he was, you know what I'm saying? And he out there messing with boys, so it's not like he had some super duper moral high ground or he the guy to root for. And then on top of that, he breaking his own laws of the street, snitching. Now he out here snitching. After you were out here instigating, I can't stand people like that, man. You people minding their business, doing their thing, getting their money. Here you come trying to take from them because you don't want to grind for yours. You want to take from them. Then when you get caught up or your life in danger, you want to work with the police. Like no, see, I can't. It's too many people. I'm telling you, it's people like that right now on the streets, and the FBI and the police in different states and cities is giving these dudes pretty much immunity, get out of jail free cards to go around harassing the community, commit all kinds. Bro, there's some stuff that happened out here in Milwaukee. A dude kept getting out of jail. This dude got getting caught. He's a felon in possession of firearm. He get pulled over, get caught with a firearm, keep getting out. He got a murder rap. So he was arrested for a homicide. He get out on bail until his trial. He murking other people, murking witnesses while he out on bail. Then get arrested again, and the judge give him another bail, and he gets bailed out by some mysterious white guy, and don't nobody know who the white guy is. I'm like, bro, this is government. That government paying, and boy, Omar worked for the police to me. I can't stand Omar.
And you know who set him straight one season? Bunk.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Bunk set his ass straight. But Coach, what you think?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I kind of agree. Not kind of. I agree 100% with the general. They got certain principles and certain morals, things I stand on, and I'm not gonna because something happened. I'm gonna completely change my principles and go in a different direction. I'm gonna give you an example, right? I'm a teacher. I've taught like pre-K through like 4 years old all the way up to like seniors in high school. All right. I done taught high school, I done taught middle school, whatever. But we're just gonna pretend hypothetically, right? Hypothetically speaking. As a teacher, I'm a grown man, and my principle is I don't talk to students. I'm not just gonna say, hey, this girl here, see this girl right here? She's so fine, I'm willing to go against what I believe, and I'm gonna talk to this girl because she like me, whoop de whoop. Nah, bro, if I stand on that, I'm gonna stand on that. I'm not gonna flip-flop because the situation is different now. So that's why I'm saying, for people to act like Omar is this morally righteous guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the show did a good job, kind of like Power. Like the reason people rooted for James St. Patrick, rooted for Ghost, was because, even though he was, a guy that deleted people, like he had good qualities about him also. And I think when you have these type of shows, you have shades of gray, whereas somebody like Marlo was the lowest of the low in the worst shade of gray. Like Omar wasn't no beloved character, in my opinion, not to be looked up to. And I think Bunk hit the nail on the head when he checked him. But and like 7-8 was saying, I think he slipped up and said it, but no, they tried to make him both like Peter Pan and like Robin Hood. He was a fairy like Peter Pan, and he was stealing G packs from Avon and these other dudes. He'd give away a few vials, to people that didn't have the cheese, and he was selling the rest of them. But at the end of the day, like, dude, you're not this morally righteous guy, and you playing with these little boys. Come on, man. Like, bro, like, this dude is not somebody like to be emulated. So I don't know why they try to make him like this revered character. I always thought it was a contradiction that he was this morally righteous guy. I never saw it.
Right.
Hamza S. He said anyone from Southwest DC was Omar character slightly based on Wayne Perry. I ain't from Southwest DC, but I heard of Wayne Perry. I don't know about that. But next question, y'all. Do you think it is healthy for McNulty to be so invested in the Avon case?
Yeah, I think it's okay if he, as long as he follows chain of command. I think it's good to have an obsession. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's this is how I feel about certain things, right? Like it can become dangerous, but great people and people who usually reach their highest successes in life are obsessed with that thing that they're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? So it might take you might lose time from your family, your friends, and people might think you're acting funny, but because you consumed and obsessed with finishing this book, accomplishing this goal, whatever, right? And I think McNulty had the right intentions because he's a cop, so he wants to take down the bad guy. It's just that he was willing to break rules and be sneaky to do it, and that's where the obsession can become a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Coach.
I'm gonna slightly disagree with the general from this perspective. I think he right people that are great at anything. Like if you're a basketball player, we're gonna say for example Michael Jordan. The reason why Michael Jordan was such a great player was not only because of his physical gifts, his physical tools, but his work ethic took him into another stratosphere and another level. And at this point, he's, in my opinion, I think he's the greatest basketball player ever that I've seen in my lifetime. But I think when you have a job like McNulty, I think a certain degree of obsession is cool. But once you cross a certain line, to me, you enter into a certain realm, a certain stratosphere that it becomes unhealthy. Where like this dude really don't have no real hobbies or real interests like outside of his job. And the thing that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, like the Lord hasn't blessed me with kids yet, but it's coming down the line one day. And for you to constantly put your kids in harm's way or keep them like on school nights, you taking your kids to go meet up with Omar and doing stuff like that. Like, come on, bro. Are you using your kids as pawns to play a spy game to get string of belt? Like, man, what the F we doing? So to me, at that point, it goes beyond being a healthy obsession to like, hey, I don't have no interest outside of this job. My sole purpose in life is to take down Avon in the Barksdale organization. And to me, that's not healthy, not whatsoever.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And of course, the last question that we ask every show: what are your thoughts on this episode, and what do you think was the most important or best scene?
Okay, this is gonna sound kind of diabolical, but I kind of liked the Brandon situation because they thought I just couldn't. The fact that they thought this was so sweet to be outside playing video games in the arcade like this, it was unbelievable. So I was, I hate to say it like this, but it was street justice for that to happen to Brandon, and that was my favorite part. And watching Omar sit here and whine about it like you some innocent victim, just unbelievable, dude. And you started this to begin with, but to whine and act like you ain't man, and now you sit up in there with the police, big bad Omar, got all the streets trembling, but you sit down with the police to snitch on some people who you didn't instigate it and started to mess with anyway. All he did was retaliate. But my overall thoughts of the show, or the episode, I liked it. I like Lester shined in this episode and stuff like that, and thought it was a good episode.
I agree. I agree. And before you go, Coach, and give mine, yeah, mine was definitely was the Lester Freeman situation. When scene where he just schooling, the less knowledgeable cops. Um, yeah, I believe this episode where Lester Freeman could you basically the light shines on Lester Freeman as a very competent cop, police officer. Go ahead, Coach. What you think?
I thought this was a great episode, and the thing that I kind of see is like the further you go along, the further you go down a rabbit hole, the more that the pieces of the puzzle come together, and you kind of starting to see that with each episode. And the thing I kind of like the most about the episode, I'm gonna kind of go in a completely different direction than both of y'all. Even though he didn't have the foresight to see what the consequences was gonna be for him calling D'Angelo saying, "Hey, we see Brandon, we spotted Brandon." If you see the humanity in Wallace, that's why like later on when he ended up getting deleted, for some people it was heartbreaking. But I could kind of see why he is such a likable character. For him to take care of other kids that really otherwise would be in foster care, it kind of goes to show you that he has a heart and that he really wasn't built for the dope game. But at the same token, him being in the situation that he's in, he don't have any other options. It's like that's his only real out. That's his only way just to put a little money in his pocket so he could take care of himself. In all actuality, at this age and stage of his life, he should be in school and somebody should be taking care of him. But I like the fact that he's taking care of other kids that would otherwise be in foster care. And I like I said again, I just thought it was an excellent episode.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it definitely was an episode, excellent episode. Um, but Coach, I'm gonna switch it back to you, man, to wrap everything up.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody that dropped through uh and showed some love. Well, let me address Hamza S real quick. Basically we talking about in this particular episode, he was saying like what do we thought like were the best scenes or whatever. In the first part of the episode, Hamza S, when Wallace woke up or whatever, he didn't just wake up. He woke up poop and the chick he was sleeping with, and he woke up the little kids. So basically, he taking care of these little kids, and he getting them off to school. He gave them all Capri Sun and some chips. I guess that was their breakfast essentially. So for him looking out for them kids, like if 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 Wallace and the other people in these abandoned apartments don't look out for these little kids, they'll otherwise they will be in foster care. So that's what I was pointing out. That's what I liked about Wallace, even though he wasn't built for being in the dope game. I like that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I appreciate everybody that came through, that checked out today's episode, that showed some love. We just want y'all to know y'all appreciate it to the fullest. But
Yes,
my
sir.
two brothers, First 7-8, the general of this phenomenal organization, tell everybody where they can meet you and see you. 7-8.
You on mute, General?
Oh man, I'm talking up a storm.
No, you
Hey,
good?
hey, y'all catch me right here on YouTube at 78 Sports TV. You can catch me also on YouTube at No 304 Show. Be live tomorrow. Me and Blu-ray. So that's No 304 Show. And of course, from there y'all can see my other avenues on Patreon, patreon.com/78 Sports TV. So appreciate y'all, brothers, man.
Man, bro, we appreciate you giving us time out your Saturday morning. Just want you to know you appreciate it to the fullest.
Yes, sir.
Much
Yes,
love,
sir.
appreciation, bro. And my brother Jared 11 Green, tell everybody where they can meet you and see you here on YouTube, bro. Just in general.
I appreciate it, Coach. Yeah, you can meet me on, of course, YouTube under the handle, of course, Jared 11 Green. Every Sunday, I have a show around 3:30. Um, of course, when my schedule is not busy, called the Southern Baller Show. That's my baby. Trying to get that growing. So we talk about football. Have a lot of the LDBC brothers on the panel. Just chopping up, talking about football, sports in general. But come check a brother out. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we represent the football portion of the LDBC, trying to hold it down. Trying to rock the football aspect of it the way Ticket TV hold it down for the basketball. But we appreciate
Yes, sir.
everybody coming through, everybody showing some love. Of course, myself, you can catch me here on YouTube here on this channel. For all my members of Jaguar Nation, later on, I got a live stream, doing a little Q&A session for Southern University football. But we appreciate everybody that came through, show some love. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal day. We'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings.
Peace.
Y'all be blessed.